I was just going to leave a little comment on Dan's video about dreams. Links down there and probably over there as well. But I realized I had way too much to say to fit it into that character limit that YouTube gives you. So here's my response in two parts. Part one is a couple of weird dream experiences I've had. And two are just going to be my thoughts in general about dreams. So the weird dreams I've had, when I was young, I had a dream. I was running through the woods, being chased by a pack of wolves, and I came out into a clearing to what I knew to be my home, except it was actually the Berenstein Bears house, but not animated, but real. And, like, I see there's this glass elevator on the outside, and my dad's coming down the elevator, and I go to yell to him, but I can't say anything. And then, like, I trip over a root, spin as I'm falling, and, like, as the wolves are jumping on top of me, I wake up, but then I look over at my desk, and I swear I see a wolf just kind of sitting there, like he's guarding me or something. And I was just, like, freaking out, and then, you know, I started to creep out of the bed, and it was just my flashlight. But still, weird dream experience there. Other one was a recurring dream I had as a kid where this is all in black and white. Well, until later, I'll tell you about that. But all in black and white. So there's this weird, like, square-shaped vertical shaft just, like, in the middle of a city block. It's no explanation there. But in that vertical shaft, there are, like, these two platforms, and they're staggered. So, you know, one's above the other, but they don't, like, overlap really. And I just have this understanding that, you know, it's safe to play on the top platform, because if you fall off, you're just going to land on the bottom platform. But you shouldn't play on the bottom platform. So, I'm playing with my sister, and she goes down onto the bottom platform and keeps playing around, and then she falls off. And then this truck comes along, looks like a gas tanker truck, and starts, like, pumping the stuff down into the pit. And all of a sudden, this neon green blob flies out of the pit. Now, the entire dream up to this point was in black and white. Now, neon green blob just jumping out. And then, like, Morticia Addams explains to me that that's my sister. And I freak out and wake up. And I seriously had this as a recurring dream for a good chunk of my childhood. So, that's my weird dream experience. On to part two. Okay, so now on to the in-depth philosophical question of what are dreams? Well, Freud theorized that there were three parts of the mind. There was the ego, the superego, and the id. And the ego is responsible for our understanding of how we interact with the world around us. This part of the mind is fully conscious. Then there's the superego. Now, the superego is mostly kind of internal morality. The right and wrong that we know without society having to tell us that. So here a distinction would be that a sociopath has an underdeveloped or undeveloped ego in that he understands right from wrong but doesn't care what people think, whereas a psychopath has an undeveloped superego in that he doesn't understand right from wrong. And then there's the id, which is that solely unconscious part of the mind, which is purely instinctual and desire. Now, for Freud, that was death and sex. He was a little obsessed with sex, and that kind of creeps me out sometimes. But on that idea, the tripartite mind, I think he was onto something there. Anyways, so according to that theory of psychology, a dream is most likely some part of the id, you know, our inner desires, expressing themselves through our unconscious mind that then gets interpreted into images. I don't don't know that I really buy that. That whole symbolism of dreams thing. The more modern theory that I've heard come up is that essentially dreams are the mind taking all of that junk that's in our short-term memory and kind of siphoning through it and figuring out, okay, this is important, needs to go into the long term, this is not important, chuck it. Because really, if we remembered everything every day, our minds would fill up like that. You know, people joke, oh, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast today. Well, if you remembered everything you had for breakfast every single day of your life, you wouldn't have much space left in your brain for anything else. So the brain selectively picks out, these are important details, we need to keep these. These are unimportant details, chuck them. So that's another theory. Makes a little more sense, but both of these theories so far kind of rule out the possibility of the supernatural. Now, as some of you may know, I am a Christian. I certainly believe God has the ability to speak to us in our dreams. And it's a question of being attuned to that influence to be able to understand, you know, this is God speaking to me in a dream, and this is what it means. And, you know, all throughout the Bible, God talks to people through dreams. You know, aside from sending angels and those few rare times he actually talks to someone directly, it's mostly through dreams. And, you know, that's probably for the best, because if God always came to us in the burning bush, that would be kind of scary. And, you know, angels are obviously, you know, at least frightening. You know, the first words out of their mouth are always, do not be afraid. So, obviously, people thinking angels, scared. So, God speaking to us through dreams, probably the best way for him to talk to us most of the time, and we just got to learn how to listen. So that's my take on dreams. Go ahead and comment. I know I'm going to get a lot of haters on this, but, you know, this is what I think. If you like what I'm saying, you like how I'm saying it, I know the lighting sucks, so I'm not asking based on production value, but if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. There's a link there, I think, unless it's there, or it could be somewhere else entirely.